Well, it's Halloween season, and as a child who grew up going to private schools, Halloween was something that wasn't typically celebrated in those schools, but no one there gave a shit if you did celebrate it. So when we got home, you better believe we put on our Beetlejuice, or the Terminator, or Michael Keaton Batman, or Surgeon Gremlin from Gremlins costumes. What, it was the late 80s, early 90s. You damn right that's what I was dressing as. But, you know who does give a shit about what holiday you let your child participate in, even though it's your own damn life and your own damn business? This old bald guy in glasses. The hosts of this show are kinda like our friends Gary and Phil from Deception of a Generation, only... okay, I guess they're exactly like Gary and Phil. From Jeremiah Films, this is the Pagan Invasion series, a 13-part series dealing with, you guessed it, the invisible invasion of pagans hosted by people who probably got their theories of paganism from watching Dragnet. Part 1 in this series focuses on everyone's favorite holiday, Halloween. Favorite, that is, if you aren't somehow involved in Jeremiah Films, or Laurie Strode. From the beginning, I think they're trying to tell us that Halloween links in with the Fortress of Solitude.
Each superbly produced volume features rare footage from around the world, along with expert analysis by noted Christian leaders and authors.
That's right, Jim Caviezel and Patricia Heaton. I don't know if I trust any religious company whose logo is a jigsaw contraption with the production name of Cutting Edge. At least with this logo, we know where all the hot air is going to be coming from. Maybe that's what's making this Halloween theme sound alike. Upon second glance, the CGI in M. Night Shyamalan's Last Airbender is pretty awful. And all of this was designed to somehow make the Lawnmower Man smarter. At least the king is so generous that he lets the townsfolk live in the castle with him. This is classic Mario 64. Always start with Bob-omb Battlefield. It's the room that doesn't require any stars. They start out by giving us some, yikes, scary open-minded images. But I'm pretty sure that cemeteries are a universal thing.
Hello, I'm Chuck Smith.
And I'm Carol Matriciana.
These two are obviously in tune to what the kids are into. That's why they're recording from inside of a CDI game.
It is an opportunity to dress up in ghoulish or fanciful costumes, to engage in the fantasy of being a witch or a vampire, ghost or devil.
Yeah, they'll dress as those if they're unoriginal or in a Charlie Brown special. The real winner goes to sexy Terrence Malick.
While there are some people who may be concerned about the origins of Halloween,
no one is concerned about the origins of Halloween. We already learned that in 1982.
The Festival of Samhain. The last great one took place 3,000 years ago, and the hills ran red with the blood of animals and children.
What else are the kids dressing as?
Halloween is a festival that conjures up images of ghosts, skeletons, black cats, witches on broomsticks, and little costumed children scurrying about the neighborhood.
Please stop paying attention to what my kids are wearing.
Others brave haunted houses and horror movie marathons.
What do you care about the horror movie marathons? They're always edited for television anyway, thanks to people like you. And of course I'm still gonna watch them, you know, because of nostalgia and all. But it's not just horror marathons that we practice in Halloween.
While the more daring visit cemeteries at midnight, play with Ouija boards, and hold seances in an effort to contact spirits of the dead.
Seances? I would make fun of that, but I'm kinda surprised he didn't find a tremendous way to fuck up saying Ouija. Maybe he practices them both in Eternia. And who's to blame for all of this? Well, the schools.
One of the biggest promoters of Halloween is the public school system. School-sponsored Halloween-themed activities often include dances, costume contests, carnivals, and arts and crafts projects.
God, if only there was something out there, like I don't know, like a private school or something that he could send his kids to. I don't know, I mean, I could have swore I went to one of those.
Education officials admit that more effort is usually put into the celebration of Halloween than any other holiday, including Christmas and Easter.
And in a private school, you wouldn't have to worry about that at all, nor that bastard commercial god Santa Claus. Plus, what are the odds that a holiday that involves intricate, non-specific costumes and special effects decorations is more expensive than the other holidays? I'm done with this guy. What does the lady have to say?
Is the stimulation of a child's sense of fun and fear all there is to Halloween?
No. You can't just throw in someone with a British accent. Now it's going to take me longer than usual to pick up on her bullshit.
For many entrepreneurs, Halloween is big business, a major promotional event used to bring in billions of dollars worth of revenue.
I don't know if that's true, but her accent is telling me that it is.
Pumpkins are a traditional Halloween accessory used by households nationwide as jack-o'-lantern decorations.
And do you know what nailed Jesus to the cross? A pumpkin. Just saying. No, seriously, I'm just saying that because apparently that's the theme of these specials. Back to movies again. Now they're speaking my language.
Halloween is manipulated by the promoters of horror movies and videos as a major marketing opportunity.
Well, slow down. Next thing you're going to tell me that Christmas is usually the time of year that we see a Christmas movie, or that the Ten Commandments is most likely going to play around Easter. Also, Corpse Grinders and Blood Feast? Yeah, those are truly the Charlie Brown Christmas specials of Halloween flicks.
The success of the technical revolution in special effects has attracted serious film directors to produce well-crafted, elaborate horror productions.
You know how I know you're full of shit? Because you just referred to A Nightmare on Elm Street 5 as a well-crafted, elaborate horror production. Oh shit, is this a con that I missed?
The two biggest selling artistic genres were pornography and horror.
This was shocking to us, finding horror movies at a genre con.
Hollywood is continuing to capitalize on society's growing craving for the occult and demonic.
I guess he makes a good point. The occult movies are totally a new thing. Aside from this, maybe that. How about a little of this too? You know, it's okay when the older movies did it.
The irony is that while these producers label such films as fun and make-believe,
because they are make-believe,
many of them hire practicing witches or Satanists as technical advisors who ensure the authentic reproductions and performances of rituals.
Okay, that can be true. The Devil's Reign had Anton LaVey as a technical advisor. But I guess it's okay when a Christian technical advisor is brought on board, so long as it's part of a religion you agree with. To their credit, they do interview some people at the convention.
People are so hyper during the day, they need to come home and watch something that's totally unreal so they can release themselves from all the pressures. It's just the type of thing that makes you laugh and forget about life.
Hey, you're doing my job for me. Stop providing a sound argument.
Over the last 2 decades, most horror films have become far more graphic in their depictions of violence and cruelty.
Yeah, unlike religious films.
Movies affectionately known as splatter films routinely detail torture and dismembering of bodies, drinking of blood, cannibalism, rape, and a host of other grotesque atrocities.
He's right, and now that he knows this going in, he can avoid these movies which are clearly not his taste, even though the Bible has plenty of the things he mentioned. But again, I don't have to say anything, because the people they interview take care of it for me.
Well, we think it's pretty fun. A lot of people just like it because it's fun, it's wacko, it's not real, and so it's just the type of thing that people like to watch.
When it comes to gore or splatter or any other particular genres, the justification lies in our Constitution. I don't feel anybody has the right to tell me what I can or cannot watch.
I think we all know who's to blame here.
Most of these films receive R ratings, which mean that children under 17 cannot view the film or rent the video without the accompaniment of an adult. Yet this precaution is seldom enforced.
And because they're not enforced, that is somehow the movie and rating system's fault.
Many of the scenarios from the horror films are duplicated in copycat crimes, which make for sensational headlines.
Okay, that's an extreme situation brought on by an extremely psychopathic individual. But if you really want to go down that road, I've got a few coughs ready. I know, extreme too, right?
Glenn Hobbs was initiated into a satanic coven as a child by his grandfather.
God damn it, your accent is fetching. Bring the old guy back. At first glance, he looks like an ill-informed dick. That makes him much easier to poke fun at. But I guess we can't learn about the entirety of Satanism without listening to someone who survived it.
I recently asked Glenn about his involvement and the importance of Halloween to the occultist.
Hey, you want to know what other holidays Satanists celebrate? Well, the Chinese New Year and Christmas, either on its own or integrated into the winter solstice. In fact, Satanism doesn't really forbid the celebration of any holiday.
There was another little girl that was involved in the occult with me, and her name was Becky. Now, Becky was a different type of child. She was blessed to be a sacrifice.
Wait, you're just reciting the plot to The Wicker Man.
Some of the things that were involved it was a very dark time for me as a child.
Well, then maybe you should just ban Halloween, you know, like the 16th century Protestants did Christmas, for fear it was too much like paganism.
We were taken into several rooms where our clothing was removed. We spent the next couple of weeks in a kind of a shack where a lot of rituals went on, where a lot of animals were killed. They summoned Lucifer and his spirit.
And if you celebrate Halloween, that clearly means you are part of a cult of child abductors who practice animal sacrifice. Just like if you put up a Christmas tree, you are obviously observing the 17th century pagan practice of bringing greenery indoors for winter decoration.
Now, we were in a ritual where we were married together. It was a marriage to the beast.
The more I hear this guy talk, the more I think, wow, this is a much better movie than Lords of Salem. I can't say if this guy's story is true or not, but if we're really gonna fault every holiday for having something fucked up happen in connection to it, how about the people who are literally killed every year during Black Friday?
He picked it up and he put my hand on it, and then he forced it into her chest Halloween night, where they killed that innocent little girl. This is something that's happening every Halloween.
Whoa, okay. Again, I don't know if this guy's story is true or not, but a story like this kind of needs a follow-up, either with pictures or newspaper clippings or something telling us if these obvious serial killers were ever apprehended or are still at large. But nope, it just continues on.
And yet we, as a society, we go out and celebrate it, and we go door to door and we ask for candy, and it's a big celebration to us, and I think it's quite ironic.
Yeah, well, there's also Halloween celebrations revolving around the Salem witch trials, something that didn't exactly paint the fundamentalists in a good light, and that shit actually happened, so we're even. The video does, however, let us in on some pagan rituals.
What you are looking at are actual rituals and spells being performed by practicing witches and druids throughout America and Europe.
All minding their own business and not hurting us in any way, shape, or form.
Today, a revival of the practices of Druidism, along with various forms of witchcraft and nature worship, are sweeping across Europe and North America.
As you can see, this less than a dozen people represent a sweeping nationwide trend. Look at how barbaric and dangerous these people look.
From soap opera stars to doctors and lawyers, dentists and toilet cleaners. Anybody can be a druid.
Bastards! Sounding all normal and non-judgmental and shit.
Human sacrifice has absolutely no place in the modern tradition. Just because we see a pagan revival doesn't mean that we wish to go back to barbarism of any sort. So it's a bit of a red herring. It's not something we like to talk about.
You know I'm making jokes at the host's expense and providing the usual level of snark, but these hosts actually are giving the people a platform to provide a counter-argument on, which is more than I can say about Deception of a Generation or Rocket's Your Decision. But let's get back to the snark.
The Oxford Dictionary states that a Wiccan is one who is twisted, bent, or warped.
These animal mask-wearing forest dwellers playing a game of grab-ass are certainly a threat to my religion. And in a special featuring religious scare tactics, I am always going to side with the guy who's also known as a martial arts expert. By the way, bravo for finding a couple of Wiccans who don't have a no-nudity clause in their contract. Christians and Druids should be able to find some common ground here. I mean, look, they both have people with mullets. Pardon me. Excuse me. Lots of brush in this area.
Despite attempts from modern Wiccans to sanitize the original intention of witchcraft, its practice cannot be divorced from demonology.
Really? Will you two keep bringing up animal sacrifices, which you have no problem divorcing yourselves from?
Today, A thin Christian veil attempts to disguise an ancient pagan festival of the dead, which has become not only a secular observance, but notorious as the most favoured holy day of witches, sorcerers, and devil worshippers.
Okay, you want to play that game again? Did you know that the mistletoe is considered a fertility plant by pagans, also known as a divine branch, a Babylonian representation of the true Messiah?
The ancient Druids worshipped Baal, one of the most powerful of all the demon kings.
Baal, okay. You know what the mother of Baal is? Easter, or Ishtar, or Ashtoreth, but the English form is Easter. What other ironic thing are they doing considering who's hosting this video?
Eastern religions emphasize that spiritual power comes from meditation. The common denominator between Druids, witches, and Satanists is the practice of meditation for the purpose of making contact with the spirits of the dead or disembodied souls.
Boy, that's weird. Now let's pray. I do believe that's enough hurt for one sitting, which translates to my brain is behaving more fried than liquefying a spoonful of candy corn and shooting it right into my veins. So that does it for the first half of the pagan invasion. By the time the second half comes here, the pagan invasion will already be here, in which case, grab some drinks, watch some movies, hang out, because they're really very peaceful people.
Happy, happy Halloween, 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 happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock. Happy, happy Halloween, 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 happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock.
It's almost time, kids. The clock is ticking. Be in front of your TV sets for the horror-thon. And remember the big giveaway.